Hi, I'm Beryl, and it is day 2 on my channel of Pasta Week. Every day this week, we are doing a different awesome pasta episode. Today, we have 5 spaghetti dinners from around the world to explore. Let's start.
Hi, my name is Carlo, and I live in Palermo, Italy. I want to share with you guys a simple and tasty spaghetti dish called the pasta con Muddica Atturrata, which means pasta with roasted breadcrumbs in English. Of course, this is not only pasta and breadcrumbs. It is a dish made of spaghetti, seasoned with olive oil, garlic, and salted anchovies, and topped with roasted breadcrumbs. What I like more of this dish is the taste of garlic and anchovies, but especially that sort of silky, smooth, yet crunchy texture given by the breadcrumbs. Because note that roasted breadcrumbs are put on top of the dish after cooking, not during the process. This is a really specific Sicilian dish, more common in the Palermo area, northwestern Sicily. Now, I don't think there is any other similar dish in the Italian pasta tradition, which makes it even more special to me. I see that pasta is amazingly spread and loved all around the world, and this makes me very proud of it. I am a huge pasta lover myself, yet I am a bit fundamentalist, and I think that pasta should always be used according to the Italian tradition. I really suffer when I see, on pictures or on a YouTube video maybe, some overcooked pasta topped with whatever is laying in the fridge, or white pasta sadly sitting at the side of meat dish. To conclude in a few words, this dish is easy, is tasty, and it brings the flavor of Sicilian tradition.
We are starting with Italy. Obviously, we had to have Italy in the episode. I chose this dish in particular because I am not the biggest fan of anchovies, and it's something that I'm trying to change. Also, breadcrumbs on pasta. I've never had this before. Ooh, this is actually really good. The anchovies actually kind of just taste really salty, and so the pasta just has a lot of flavor, and the crunch from the breadcrumbs. Yummy. This was very simple to prepare, and while I was making it, I kind of felt that simplicity of the meal, but also knowing that every ingredient is very purposeful. And when you taste it, you immediately get a sense of that. I want to say one thing quickly about what Carlo said about his feelings on pasta. If you've seen this channel before, you know that I feel that food is the kind of ultimate unifier. And because of that, I don't necessarily look at ingredients or preparations as this is the way you have to prepare something to keep it authentic. I think that authenticity is sometimes overrated. I'm gonna get in trouble. But I do also want to acknowledge that I respect how people feel about these ingredients that are a big part of their culture. I also just think that there is room for interpretation and sharing, and it is through those different interpretations of things that we find interesting new ways to eat foods that we may already love. Either way, Carlo, thank you so much for sharing this dish. It was delicious. I just hope that the rest of the episode doesn't upset you. Let's talk about the artist today. Her name is Imogen Marsteller. Her paintings explore the human condition and the female condition especially, and there's a lot of figurative work. I love her colors, I love her line work. I am leaving a link in the description to all of her socials if you want to explore her work. Let's get on to the next pasta dish.
Hi Beryl, I'm Lineke from South Africa, and the dish I have to share with you today is crispy spaghetti nests. It isn't a local South African dish, but rather something that my mom concocted up based on things that I like. It is made with easy to find ingredients such as spaghetti, eggs, and cheese, and then finished off with whatever herbs you like. We sometimes use leftover spaghetti to make this dish. The egg, cheese, and spaghetti mixture is swirled together in a pan and fried in melted butter. The eggs just cover the spaghetti to bind them together. The nests get fried on both sides, but be delicate when flipping them. The result is a cheesy pasta nest with 2 crispy sides that have a taste of butter. We usually eat it just like that, but it works well with crispy fried bacon bits or sun-dried tomatoes. Since my mother invented these for me as a special treat for when I felt down, the dish brings back memories of my mother's love as a child. It can always brighten my day when I get served these. I would love for people to try this dish so that they can experience the unique taste of crispy pasta.
I just think that this presentation is so fun, but don't they kind of look like latkes? Right? The potato pancakes? I don't know. Ooh, crunchy. This really reminds me of, you know when you're a kid and your mom's like, don't play with your food, just eat your food, blah, blah, blah. Playing with your food can be really fun, and coming up with a concept like this, I think is a result of not taking food so seriously. If you have a kid, this would be such a great and fun dinner for them. And as an adult, this is also really fun. Also a really good way to use leftover pasta. I think you could go wild with this and add all sorts of things, and it would just be so much fun. I also feel like I could be dipping this in something. 10 points if you know what I want to dip this in. If you guessed QP and or Maggie Hot and Sweet, you get 10 points. This is kind of sad, huh? I know it's pasta, and traditionally I would never think to do this with pasta, but because it's so different, honestly it works. If Carlo is still watching, I'm sure that he is slightly in pain watching me do this. But it tastes really good. I like this because number 1, it was fun, number 2, it was delicious, and number 3, it's actually a really good way to use leftover pasta, which does happen a lot. This is, yeah, put this in the rotation. Before we get to the next dish, I would like to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. And because this is a spaghetti pasta dinner video, we're making a spaghetti dish. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service. They have over 35 weekly recipes, which means there are a lot of awesome dishes to choose from. One of the things that is great about HelloFresh is they do have a lot of these quick and easy options, everything from 20-minute meals to even easy cleanup recipes. I like these options because it makes the act of cooking less stressful and the act of eating, honestly, a little bit more enjoyable. You can easily customize the recipes by swapping out the proteins. So for example, even though I am using shrimp, if you didn't like shrimp in this, you could swap it out for chicken or something else. Sometimes meal kits like this can feel a little overwhelming. Your plans change and you don't always need to have dinner in the fridge. HelloFresh makes it really easy. You can skip a week, you can skip 2 weeks, you can add an extra meal 1 week if you're gonna be around more. It's all very simple with just 1 click. And speaking of simple, my spaghetti dinner is done and I think it looks actually really nice. Ta-da! Let's give it a try. That garlic butter is so yummy. I'm gonna call this spaghetti dinner a definite win. And you know, you've got your veggies in there, you got your protein in there. If you're interested in giving HelloFresh a try, go to HelloFresh.com, use my code Beryl70, and that will give you 70% off plus free shipping. Let's do some more spaghetti dinners.
Hi Beryl, my name is KeShawn. I live in Nashville, Tennessee in the USA, and today I'm going to talk about my super savory, sapidly salty pasta, or I guess 4S pasta for short if you wanted to. The name comes from my appreciation for campy alliteration, but also the flavors that are in the dish. The dominant flavors I felt were savory and salty, and not just salty for salty's sake, but salty in a particularly umami-packed kind of way, hence sapidly salty, where sapid is just yet another word for savory. This dish is like an upgraded aglio e olio, so it's an olive oil and garlic-based sauce on preferentially a long pasta like a spaghetti or an angel hair or bucatini or something. just kind of upgraded a little bit with things like red chili flake and lemon and fish sauce and fried capers and anchovies. I've always liked things like miso and kimchi and soy sauce, and so this gets at that. I live in the South in the United States. Culturally, I'm a Black American Southerner. This isn't anything to do with food that I grew up on in that sense, but I started cooking this for the first time when I first moved here to Nashville for graduate school, and I was living on my own for the first time ever, doing all my own cooking and grocery shopping. But another thing also happened while living on my own for the first time, and that is the COVID-19 pandemic. So I went from having never lived on my own to being by myself 24/7 in the four walls of my apartment. And it was horrible in a lot of ways, obviously, for everyone, but it was also a time for growth and learning a lot about myself, and I kind of associate this dish with my COVID era, for better or for worse. So yeah, I really do love getting creative in the kitchen. It's kind of like therapeutic for me, like definitely good for my mental well-being. And finally, I think people should try this dish because it's adaptable to whatever you want. It's fast and it's pretty cheap, so I think you should give it a go.
Okay, so this pasta dish, once I made it, I realized how similar it was to the Italian pasta dish, only no breadcrumbs and like way more umami flavors, right? Fish sauce, I mean, okay. I like that this is KeShawn's own invention, so it's really going to be what does he like to eat, you know? I will say that the fish sauce is doing what fish sauce does, and it's being very fish saucy. It's a good thing and it can be a bad thing, you know? Having had this now, I would love to add the lemon juice to the original kind of anchovy pasta dish from the first one, or add breadcrumbs to this one and make like one super pasta dish. I love the freshness of the lemon. It is salty. To be fair, salt is my favorite flavor. You know, like what are the flavors? What do we have? Sweet, salty, spicy, bitter, sour. Oh, I do also really like sour. Oh, sometimes I realize when I'm editing this, I'm like, oh my God, Beryl, like, I think that I really like this because it has the sour of the lemon and the saltiness from the fish. The fish sauce, it might have been me that I put a little bit too much on. You know, it's kind of like one drop goes a long way, and I think in reflection, I did a lot of drops on one dish. I loved blanching the spinach inside of the pasta dish. I think that that is genius. So smart. Just like do everything in one pot. Fried capers, whew, after my own heart. Also, KeShawn, I just want to say, I love the name. Super savory, sapidly salty pasta. Let's try to say that 5 times fast. Super savory, sapidly. Can't even say it 1 time fast.
My name is Orana. I'm coming to you today from unceded Gadigal country in Sydney, Australia. And the dish that I would like to share with you today is my pink beetroot pasta. This is a recipe that I've made up on my own, but it is inspired very heavily from a recipe by the French food writer Clotilde Dussolier from this book, French Market Cookbook. Her original recipe is called Shocking Pink Pasta, and this is her picture. In Clotilde's recipe, she includes things like cumin and cream, but over the years I've made a few tweaks just to make it more my own. This is a very simple pasta sauce. It's ready in minutes, especially if you use pre-cooked beetroots, like the kind you get backpacked in supermarkets in the chilled section. And it makes a gorgeous, bright, luscious fuchsia pink sauce. I definitely would not say that this is a typical Australian dish, but it definitely does say something about my long love affair with French cooking, and particularly with Clotilde's work. I've always loved cooking, and especially being creative with vegetables. I think it's something I must have inherited from my dad, and I remember when I was really little, whenever my dad went grocery shopping, he would play this game with me. When he got back, I'd have to close my eyes and hold out my hands, and whatever fruit or vegetable he got, I would have to try and guess what it is based solely just on the texture. So from a very early age, I knew all about Jerusalem artichokes and kohlrabi and okra and every weird and wonderful fruit and vegetable under the sun. I think you guys should try this sauce because it is beautiful to look at and beautiful to eat. Bon appetit!
Okay, so I chose this pasta dish because I thought to myself, wow, a pink sauce, that is super interesting. And then as I've been cooking it, it kind of feels like, it looks like when you're a kid and you have like a Play-Doh creation, or I don't know, like the pink color is expressing itself in reality differently than how I felt. And I think it's just, we're not used to eating pink foods. It's a really pretty color, just like not one that I necessarily want to eat. Cheers though. I don't feel like I'm tasting the beets that much. I'm definitely tasting the nut butter. So it kind of has like a tahini-esque flavor mixed with everything. It's actually like really good. I feel like I could have added a bit more citrus now that I'm eating it. It's definitely a very cool use of vegetables. I think it's really, for me, all about the color. And that's kind of why you would use beets to make a sauce. I guess the more I'm eating it, the less strange I'm finding it. Just because it tastes good. If you're somebody who likes to experiment in the kitchen, I think this is definitely a sauce worth trying. I think you could tweak it a little bit to get to your own kind of personal palate, but I think as a concept, it is very cool to use food for color and kind of explore dishes in a really visually different way. Pink pasta, huh? I mean, I'm into it, I think.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm from the Philippines. I live in Metro Manila and I'm here today to share with all of you a pasta dish from my country. Filipino-style spaghetti, or simply spaghetti as it's called, is noodles cooked just a bit over al dente, tossed in a bright red tomato meat sauce, then topped with a lot of creamy cheese. Filipinos like dishes that are very flavorful and that reflects on the way we do our spaghetti as well. The sauce is the star. So it will be quite heavy-handed, it will be very flavorful, very umami, very tasty, with some tang and sometimes a bit of spice in it. But what makes it most distinctive is that there will be a sweet flavor to it as well. It can be served alone, or it could be served with barbecued pork on sticks, fried spring rolls, or American-style fried chicken. It's so popular that the #1 fast food chain in the country, which is a local brand, has it on its menu. And most, if not all, foreign food chains that come to the country will have their own take of Filipino-style spaghetti on their menu. As a child growing up, I didn't think much of the dish, it was just always there, but now that I'm older, I actually find myself seeking this out as a comfort food now and then. So I invite everyone to try out this recipe. It will be an interesting, super flavorful take on something that's familiar, and the flavor profile will be a hit among kids, and for the adults, it will probably also appeal to the kid in all of us.
Filipino spaghetti. This is something that I have heard many tales about, so I'm pretty excited to try it. I got a hot dog on there. I really like this. It tastes kind of like a sweeter ragu. The hot dog was good. I mean, I love hot dogs, so I'm very biased. I think that I was expecting this to be sweeter, just based on what everybody has said. And maybe it's just the brand of Filipino spaghetti sauce that I bought. But it did say sweet on the label. I also feel like right now, for some reason, I'm really hungry. And so eating this is, it's just like really hitting the spot. I did read a couple stories about how this sauce was created, and what I gather is there are 3 main players in this. One is a woman named Maria Arosa, who was one of the first food scientists from the Philippines. She also created this sauce called banana ketchup when there was a tomato shortage in the Philippines. Cut to American General Douglas MacArthur, who was stationed in the Philippines. He wanted spaghetti with meatballs. That wasn't really available. And so some people in the kitchen used the banana ketchup and some cut up hot dogs and created Filipino spaghetti. I mean, that's what I read about online, and I think, what an interesting story, you know? The Filipino spaghetti sauce is definitely something that you can make from scratch, but if you wanted to buy it to try it, I'm leaving a link in the description to a shop where I found it available online. I hope you enjoyed these dinners. All of the recipes are in the description. Come back tomorrow as Pasta Week continues because we are going on a little field trip, and I think that you will be excited to see who we are going to visit. In the meantime, if you missed any of the videos from Pasta Week, I'm leaving them here, and I will see you all tomorrow.